So Twitch is fake. Your favorite Twitch streamer is probably using view bots, and advertisers should be mad. In fact, I think this information coming out could lead to potential lawsuits. I don't know. We're going to talk about it because we've been kind of following the situation with Twitch for the last couple of years, and the views kind of dropping off on Twitch. And then there were allegations that, view botting was a thing on Twitch. And now we've got the head of one of the largest talent agencies that manages a bunch of Twitch streamers coming out and saying, yeah, literally everybody's using bots on Twitch. That's pretty damning, because that means advertisers are getting screwed because the views aren't real. We're not even talking about using AdSense or whatever to boost your views. It's literally just bot accounts watching. No, they're not even watching streamers, but you know what I'm saying. These brand deals are based on the number of concurrent viewers that you have, the amount of traffic that you get. So if it's all fake, then yeah, you're essentially stealing. And, this is going to be a really interesting development here. I don't think I would have said the quiet part out loud the way that Reed here from Night Media did. And let's talk about this a little bit too. For those of you who don't know who or what Night Media basically is the talent agency that represents the biggest streamers, the biggest YouTubers. They used to represent Mr. Beast. He got away from them a couple of years ago. He was not happy with them, and I have that direct from the horse's mouth. I won't tell you when or how or whatever, but he was not real happy with them. He had a parting of the ways, but they have been boosting other accounts, I think, trying to find another Mr. Beast. But if you go to, all the people that they manage, you've got Kai, you've got Hassan, all of these people are huge on Twitch, right? And it makes you wonder how many of their viewers are real. In fact, I think they were managing, I don't know if they still manage Asmongold, but, he made the transition. I don't see him in the little clip here, but he made the transition to YouTube pretty effectively from Twitch. But like Hassan tried to go to YouTube and he wasn't getting the concurrent views. I remember that being a whole thing, and he was having a meltdown temper tantrum. Well, the reason he probably wasn't getting the viewers on YouTube, well, one, YouTube is a vastly different audience, I think, than Twitch, but also I think he was being botted. So I have to wonder how many of these accounts are being botted, and why would you do that? Again, advertiser money, brand deals, bragging. You can go to the media and say, oh yeah, we get X thousands of people watching every stream. And, I thought it was always kind of weird with these Twitch streamers, because Twitch, it doesn't have the cultural impact that all these other streaming platforms do, right? And they've been losing a lot of streamers lately to Kick and to YouTube. And I'm like, who are these people? And you hear, you start hearing about these streamers like, oh, this is the biggest streamer on Twitch. I'm like, literally who? Who is this person? I've never heard of this person before. And then you look into it, it's like, oh yeah, there's some management agency behind them. Because what they're probably doing, I don't even know if the talent's aware of it. I don't know if the talent is aware of it, but their handlers might actually be buying traffic for them to make them appear bigger so they can go sell them easier. It's just like Hollywood. It's the same thing, right? And really the proof is in, if you go out on your own and you can actually hold an audience or whatever. But I suspect there are some YouTubers that are doing this too. I'm definitely not naming names. But, you work in marketing and stuff as long as I have, and you start to look for some stuff, and Geeky notices some patterns on things, and it's kind of like, yeah, okay. But we're going to talk about this, saying the quiet part out loud. I don't know who all they represent now. I know a lot of people have been leaving. Request full roster. Yeah, they're not saying who's actually part of Night. I'll tell you, we had some dealings with a business that they were involved in a couple of years ago, and it almost ended in a lawsuit. So that's all I'm going to say. So that's my experience with Night Media. So we'll talk about their CEO though coming out and saying the quiet part out loud. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, hey, you still got some time if you want to pick up Crimson Wren, the Adventure Edition. What makes this the Adventure Edition? Well, it's a reoffering of a book that's been out of print for a couple of years. Beautiful graphic novel drawn by Jose Garcia. And also we've got some new perks, including some cards and some pins and stickers. So check that out on Kickstarter. We're going to leave that open for a little bit. And same with Geeky Sparkles Rage Pin. She'll be back later today. I am muddling through some videos this morning while she's out. I have not been feeling well this week. Whatever this is, I feel worse in the afternoon. Like, I'm not terrible in the morning. Once I get going, once I have like 9 cups of coffee, I'm okay. But by afternoon, I'm just like wiped, man. So check that out. Both of these are on Kickstarter. So yeah, we'll talk about this. And like, look, this video is not to dump on Night Media. A lot of people have been dumping on Night Media lately, and Mr. Beast left them and all that. But there are games that are played with influencers, just like there are games that are played with Hollywood talent, where you try to make these people look bigger than they actually are. And when you see people come out of left field, you're like, who is this person? All of a sudden, they just show up with like millions of followers, and you're like, nobody's talking about this person. Well, there's probably a management group behind them, because the e-celebrity is the commodity, right? Because they can turn that person into shitty merchandise that's going to go on clearance at Walmart and all that. And they're always looking for another. They want another Mr. Beast. They want to be able to sell candy bars and burgers and, you know, theme parks and whatever the hell else he's into right now. And they lost him. So this has come from Yeet on X. Night Media CEO wrote an article on Twitch view botting. Okay, highlights: bots finding ways to be undetected. Twitch doesn't enforce because more views look better for advertisers. This is okay. So we talked about this before. Dan Clancy seems to turn a blind eye to a lot of shit on Twitch. And I think the reason he does that is he's trying to save his job, because he knows if the truth came out about Twitch, it would be over. Because I don't think real people are watching Twitch. I think Twitch has driven off all the gamers. A lot of those people have gone to Kick. A lot of the bigger streamers already went to other, platforms. They're over there. So he's not saying anything unless they get called out on it specifically. This is, I remember, was it last year? Yeah, it was last summer that people had questions about the viewbots. I think it might have, I know XQC called them out, and I think Emaru called them out. Emaru actually saw a bunch of bots come into her stream, like her viewer count went through the roof. So I think there are people on Twitch who are not in on the secret, but I think the secret of Twitch is it's a ghost town, and I think it's being propped up for sure. So this is what he said. I can't believe he actually said this. So Reed says he did his own botting research and found that $180 a week can get you 750 concurrent viewers. No downside to botting if you're in the top 500 streamers. If you're not botting, you're at a disadvantage because everyone else is. Yeah, it's kind of like sports, right? If everybody else is juicing and you're not juicing, you're definitely not on even ground, right? We ran into this with so weird. Like all of these e-spaces, I'm going to be honest, it's all a game. It's all about appearances. It's all about keeping up appearances. And you can tell the people that actually do it because they want to do it. And then there are other people that are into it. They're just like, yeah, I just want to make my money and get the fuck out. And that's how it is. But it is a game. And you're competing against people who are juicing and people who have the backing of corporations. If it's not Night Media, it's somebody else. And in a lot of ways, again, you're the commodity, and they're gonna pump these people up. And why is it almost impossible to start, a channel now? Not 10 years ago, but like now. Why is it almost impossible to start a channel now and blow up overnight, and go viral and all? This is why. Because the people that have been in charge the last 10 years on YouTube and Twitch, whatever, they want to stay in charge, right? So everybody's juicing. And I think I'm going to tell you the truth. I think Night Media throws shit tons of money at promotion for their people because they make it back in ad revenue. But if they're screwing over the advertisers, that might be a problem at some point for them. So hopefully that's not the case. And I know there was a tabletop influencer. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but Dungeons and Discourse, who I actually recommend their channel. Their channel is really good. But I was watching and they were talking about how there was a tabletop influencer who was supposedly inflating the views on videos because they're getting paid on a CPM, which is, per 1,000 views. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that because you always get caught, right? And I know people that have purchased views before and they always get caught. And there's some weirdness even in the YouTube space. And sometimes people get suddenly demonetized, and sometimes it's for no good reason. And sometimes it's because they just got caught. And Google, it's a lot harder to do. I'm going to be honest. It's a lot harder to do it over here on YouTube because Google is, they're willing to throw their creators under the bus to appease the advertisers always. The advertisers come first over here. So they will absolutely throw their creators under the bus to salvage that relationship with advertisers, right? And it doesn't matter. You could have, 10 million subscribers and be like, oh yeah, click fraud, whatever, we're done. I mean, I've seen it happen to people. It's not fair. Twitch has the opposite problem. Twitch wants advertisers. They want advertisers very badly, right? But they're not getting very many advertisers because, they don't have the views that YouTube has. And honestly, the audience they've cultivated over there now is just a bunch of like far left activists. They've chased all the gamers off. The people with wanted to jiggle their boobs, a lot of them went over to Kick or OnlyFans or, whatever. It's crazy. So anyway, let's read this letter again. Remember, this is a guy who has, I'm sure, boosted his people, and he's telling you that you ain't got a chance unless you cheat. And just everybody knows Twitch is a lie. Okay, that is shocking for him to just come out and admit it, unless he knows he's going to get busted pretty soon. So he's like, what the fuck? I'll just rip the Band-Aid off. It's time to start view botting, he says. What does it take to cut through all the noise on the internet? If everybody else is botting, why shouldn't you? We used to live in a world where if you made great content, algorithms would find an audience for your videos. Now creators have to clip farm, pay clippers, and sometimes even view bot to have a better chance of capturing more attention and breaking through the noise. Or don't make Twitch your primary platform because nobody's over there anymore. Twitch is a ghost town, man. This is especially true on platforms like Twitch, where view botting can surface you on the front page of popular streaming categories. I would not have said that. Or is he trying to blow everything up? Because if everybody's view botting, they're all competing with each other. So this is a thing in business. You never tell people what's in the secret sauce until you're ready to move on to something else. Then you let them fight over the crumbs. This could be 4D chess. He could be like, you know what? We're done with Twitch, or we're going to move off of Twitch. So I'm going to let these motherfuckers fight amongst themselves for the scraps of Twitch, and I'm going to move on to something else. I'm not going to tell them what I'm doing. I'm just saying. Like, I can't believe that this guy would just come out and say, this is what we're doing. Twitch has been dealing with this for years. A post from Devin Nash sums up well, and he even goes on to say there's no real downside to botting your stream. There's no downside to botting your stream if you're in the top 500 creators. Back in August of last year, we did see a crackdown on bots, and I hope that trend continues. Clearly, this is happening again, and bots are finding ways to go undetected. You're telling people to do it. Twitch is encouraging it. They want it to look like they have a lot of people over there. My belief, echoed by XQC, is that they don't care to enforce it. No. The more views there are, the better things look for advertisers. Yes. Is this why everybody's advertising dropped off a cliff on Twitch? Because I remember that being a bit. Remember that kid, that FaZe Clan? Was it Lacey? Like, I don't follow these people on Twitch. I don't care. Twitch is like an alien. It's like a foreign country to me. It's like, I don't understand it. It's kind of like YouTube, but not quite. It's like Canada. It's kind of like America, but not quite. Like when you watch a TV show, no offense to Canadians, by the way, I love Canadians. But when you watch a TV show from Canada, it's like Bizarro America. It's like, yeah, this is just like America, but like 20% different, because I just noticed a bag of milk on the kitchen table. What the hell is up with that? Yeah, what is up with the bag of milk? I am very familiar with the bag of milk. Actually, we had Canadian relatives, and Yes, we often had bagged milk. It was a rare treat to have a bag of milk, but it was weird. It's weird to see as an American. Anyway, that's what Twitch feels like to YouTube. They said, yeah, it's happening again. The more reviews there are, the better things look for advertisers. They're going to fuck around and find out. If people are review botting and Amazon is allowing it and turning a blind eye to it, they're going to fuck around and find out. And they're going to get sued by some pretty big companies. And it's going to be death by 1,000 cuts. Maybe that's the point of outing all this and be like, you know what? Fuck Twitch. We're done. Boom. Just light it on fire on the way out. If everyone else is doing it, should you? I would never explicitly say you should bot your views on Twitch. Well, other than in the title of this article, but the reality is if you're not view botting and everyone else is, you're at a disadvantage. Yeah, everybody else is juicing. You can't compete. When you're competing in a category where you're buried, if you don't have 500 plus viewers, maybe shifting your strategy to paying clippers and buying bots helps the streamer break through. I don't think new streamers can break through right now. I think it's so locked down. I think you have to be one of Dan Clancy's pets to get anywhere. I think if you haven't built your platform, same with you. I mean, I'm going to be honest, same with YouTube. The only new people that are breaking through on YouTube are people who have come from another platform. And I could even argue Asmongold. I like Asmongold. I watch him, but he already had a huge Twitch following and he brought them over here. So he was already an advantage. But if he were going to start from ground zero on YouTube, I don't think you'd be able to do it. I don't think we'd be able to do it. We're not even that big. I don't think you can do it anymore. I think the only people who are breaking through now are doing shorts. And I think YouTube is allowing that because they want to push shorts and watch time, but they also don't have to pay these people shit because shorts don't pay shit. I don't think they're going to let like some new streamer break through or some new long form creator break through. The long form creators that are going to break through on YouTube going forward are going to be the Hollywood types that are coming in, they're paying to play. And they're going to be bringing millions of dollars with them. They're going to be, like professionally produced podcasts, studio, the whole thing. And they're going to come over and they're going to throw, it's going to be tit for tat. They're going to throw like millions of dollars at YouTube to get front paged. And that's how it's going to go. And that's going to be like YouTube's version of view botting. It's like, oh yeah, we'll throw you on the front page there. There's Stephen Colbert. Once he's done with his show, he'll probably be doing podcasts. Yeah, we'll park Stephen on the front page again. On his own podcast. You just give us a couple $1 million in advertising and we'll do it. And that's what's going to happen. I'm telling you, you're not going to break as an indie creator. You're not going to break through on YouTube or Twitch anymore. It's too valuable. It's too valuable to the powers that be now. When it didn't matter, you could break through because it didn't matter. Now that there's big bucks, yeah, they're paying attention. You're not going to get through. I wanted to see what it would cost to buy the stream, and for $180 a week, for only $180 a week, you can sponsor a failing streamer, a starving streamer like that Lacey kid. Yeah, was that Lacey? Oh, yeah, no, sorry, I forgot all about that. Yeah, Lacey kid. He was complaining he was only making $2,000 a day. He was only making $2,000 a day, down from $10,000 a day as advertising dropped. I wonder if they had to audit Twitch and be like, yeah, you guys really fucking over the advertisers, and they're not happy. So yeah, I can get 1,500 followers, 225 chatters, and 750 concurrent viewers for less than $800 a month. These companies accept crypto. I think this is going on YouTube too. And I think people do have dedicated audiences. I do believe that. And I'm definitely not saying everybody, but there are some people that pull like the exact same amount of viewers every stream. I mean, I get if you're doing it like the same time of day all the time, I get that. But sometimes it just seems very, very odd. It's like, wait, you're doing the stream at like 3:00 in the afternoon and you've got exactly the same amount of people watching, give or take, 50 or whatever that you did yesterday at a different time. You know what I'm saying? It starts to look a little weird after a while. There's probably no way to prove it. I would just tell you if you're doing that on YouTube, you're gonna want to watch your ass because Google's not gonna mess around. Amazon might not care, or Google cares. You get busted doing that shit, and they think you're effing over the advertisers. And I personally think that like when people are like, "Oh my god, guys, I suddenly got demonetized," and I don't know why. I think when that happens, it's because Google caught you doing something you shouldn't be doing. That's my personal opinion as someone who's worked with Google for like 20 years on websites and whatever. They do not fuck around when it comes to their advertising money. They don't fuck around. So I'm just saying. Is there any way to detect it? From what I've researched about detecting view botting, even Dan Clancy, the Twitch CEO, has mentioned that detecting bots is a cat and mouse game. He's not going to tell people not to do it because it makes it look better for him. Look, bosses, whoever he answers to at Amazon, look at all the people that are on Twitch right now. Yeah, sure, they're all from like Indonesia, but hey, they're really popular over there, I guess. When allegations start surfacing online, streamers are left to state their case and prove that their audience is real. And for brands, is there any way to tell if a streamer or someone else is botting their viewership? I couldn't find anything legitimate that I would trust. There currently isn't a website out there that can credibly detect bots. No, this is why a lot of times if you get brand deals with people, and people know we've had advertisers, we've had sponsors on this channel before. They want your analytics. They want to see your traffic sources. They want to make sure that your audience is real. Like, they're not going to spend money on you unless your audience is real. And I don't know if that's the case on Twitch, but I know it is with YouTube. Like every time we've had any kind of a brand deal, we've had to send them our analytics so they could, because I think they've gotten burnt before. But I'm just saying, it's a hard one. Yeah. The big takeaway: we've entered an era where good content alone isn't enough. Distribution tactics are. See also Hollywood. When paid amplification and bots can artificially push you, the playing field starts to tilt toward whoever's willing to game it. This is gonna fucking blow up in their faces. This is gonna blow up in their faces, and that might be his point. But I'm like, dude, if it comes out that like 3/4 of Twitch is fake and advertisers have been fucked over for millions and millions of dollars, you're talking lawsuits. And I think there have been some lawsuits, class action lawsuits. I have to look into that, but yeah, I mean, if I were an advertiser and I dumped, $10 million into a campaign or whatever with a bunch of Twitch streamers, and it turns out that they were really only getting 10% of the audience that I paid for, I'd fucking sue them. I would. I'd be like, and if it turns out that they're all with the same agency that's using the same tactics to game the system, I'd sue them. I would. Twitch's detection tools feel reactive, and advertisers don't seem to have a reliable way to verify what's real. If botting becomes normalized, creators face a brutal question: compete clean and risk invisibility, or bend the rules to survive? Long term, this erodes trust in the entire ecosystem. Ironic coming from Night Media, who I've heard participates in tactics like this. So this might be like a 4D chess move here. Like, I'm going to let them bot everything, and I'm just going to walk away and move on to the next thing. This is some horseshit, because I think we're going to find out. Yeah, Twitch doesn't care, says Yasan. They tried to purge bots before, only end up purging many of the real viewers. No, I don't think there is many real viewers. There's no parameter that can 100% quickly determine if you're a bot or a real person. Bot farms are not morons. I think it's going to get worse with AI. I think AI is going to be smarter, but there are people that are going to try to take shortcuts. And, look, I mean, I guess I get it to some degree. It is almost impossible to grow a channel to a size that could actually become a viable income or even a side hustle for people current year, because you are competing with a bunch of cheaters and you are competing with a bunch of media companies. Let's be honest. You're competing with you're not competing with individuals. You think you're competing with individuals. You're actually competing with media companies that are machines, well-oiled machines that know what the fuck they're doing and how to game the system. And you're going to have a real hard time competing with that. Then people are like, well, I'll just throw them with whatever company. I'm like, yeah, you could. And you could wind up completely fucked over by that company, and they can take all your shit. And that has happened. Actually, look into what happened with those VTubers, right? The one management company, they went poof, and then they went poof, and then they took all their money. Like, that could totally happen to you. So it's hard. Like, I don't even know I don't even know where to tell people to go current year if you're just going to start now. I think you need to basically find another Wild West. You need to find, I think a lot of people are trying to build presences up on X or on Substack, or whatever. And eventually those are going to become corporatized too. You know, it's a very different system. Now that they're paying attention to us over here, it's going to get so much harder because they've got the Hollywood bucks. Unless you can, right out of the gate drop, a couple $1 million to get yourself 5 million subs or whatever it's going to take to, boost your content to get it's going to be an uphill battle. Right. And YouTube is not your friend. Twitch definitely is not Twitch. I don't think there's anybody over there really compared to YouTube. Yeah, it's going to be rough, man. Now you know why Hassan says botter every fifth word. Yeah, well, Hassan, I think a lot of his audience might be fake too. Cause like I said, there was a thing, I didn't follow it super close, but he came over to YouTube and he was kind of devastated. He didn't get very many viewers on YouTube. It's because, he's like, oh, it's splitting my viewership or whatever. And it's like, no, I think it's cause you can't bot YouTube as well as, or maybe he's not even aware. It's possible. I'm going to give the guy a benefit of the doubt. Maybe it's possible his agency is botting his account, but he's not aware of it. And that might have been the case with all these FaZe Clan kids too. Like they might have been botted and they had no idea. And then when the bottom fell out of it, then they freaked the fuck out because they're like, we were used to making all this money and now we're not. Like, yeah, because you weren't supposed to make that much money. You were making way more money than you're supposed to. 180 a week for 700 fake concurrent viewers, and Twitch won't fix it because inflated metrics helps them sell ads. Yes, Amazon paid $970 million for a platform that profits from the bots. They're not going to say shit as long as they're making money. They're not going to say shit about it. So there we go. So Amazon's definitely in on, or at least Twitch is in on it. And I think maybe that's the point. Maybe the point of this is to out this and to make it so egregious that if everybody starts doing it, Twitch will have to address it. But what might actually wind up happening is Twitch gets shut down or sold off because it's just ridiculous. As a person that watches clips and probably a stream or two where someone is actually funny, why should viewers care? Viewers wouldn't care, but it could collapse the platform. It was quite evident when 300K bots hit multiple streamers in a single day. They're rampant on Twitch and Kick, and they are undetectable. Now, whether they're stealing money, though, through ad revenue, that remains to be seen. Yeah, if they're getting brand deals based off of their concurrent viewers, they're stealing money. This only changes when advertisers realize they're being scammed out of hundreds, if not thousands of dollars sponsoring these big streamers. Red. Night Media is the agency that represents Hassan. This is the main reason he has any reach outside of Twitch, puff pieces, interviews, etc. That is probably true. They're definitely a very corporate media company, and they grew to the size they grew to using Mr. Beast money. So it's like, but they're trying to make another Mr. Beast, and I think they're trying to turn Hassan into far left Mr. Beast or some shit. Can you imagine going to a Hassan theme park? That'd be the most unfun place ever. Don't bring your dog. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later.